if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura.
Season, the average normie hibernates, and Bitcoin is essentially non-existent. But there remains a dedicated class we call the humble sad stacker. Stay humble and what's that death sex? What's that death sex? So turn up the pressure and we'll turn up the hash. Turn up. Stay humble and we'll stack them sets. We'll stack them sets. So we'll turn up the pressure and we'll turn up the hash. Turn up. Bitch me humble.
Boom shakalaka, man. I tell you what, shout out to Real Richards. You can check him out on Twitter, YouTube. He did an excellent job with that. Love it. Love the energy. It's a great day for that energy, man. We got a great one for you tonight, folks. And of course, with me, the man who needs no introduction, the most interesting man I know. His personality is so magnetic, he's unable to carry credit cards. Brawnz, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. And shout out to you, Texan Whale, for that intro, the Alien that countdown, the video game. We're aligned because just earlier this week, I was watching the original Aliens, just a little bit of it because it's scary. But I watched the original because of the quality of the Blu-ray. It's awesome. But a classic movie, and that game just brought me back.
Absolutely. Yeah, they got the new movie out there. You guys got to check it out if you haven't already. Yes. Scary stuff.
Fabulous.
Man, I tell you what, love the series, love the video game. I kind of missed arcades. Wish they'd make a comeback, I suppose, in the way they are. Depends on where you're at. But, man, we got a lot to cover tonight here, Brawnz. It's been one heck of a day today. We're going straight to the damn moon. Yeah, I agree. Ups, downs, drama left and right. We're going to be talking about all of that. But, of course, before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Every little bit helps there, folks. We do appreciate you. Of course, now for tonight, we'll be starting off with the charts as per the norm, Bitcoin chart. Taking a look at that. Taking a look about where we've been and where we're headed to. And, as Brawnz had said, one heck of a week. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that as to why we hit some lows. We dipped and then rose back up like a phoenix from the ashes. I think that, man, we got a lot to cover. We're going to also be talking about why, not only why it's pumping today, but of course we know that if you don't, Russia has legalized Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining altogether. That's massive. It's huge. We need more and more, folks getting on board, more and more countries getting on board, and this is exactly what we're seeing. This cycle is going to be massive, and I don't know where it's going to end. I know we're going to end up on top. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, absolutely. We're going to be wrapping it up with one of the largest airdrop crypto projects in history that's going on right now. If you guys aren't a part of this, you got to check it out. Hamster Kombat. We're going to be going over what it is, what it looks like, and what the future is going to bring to that in the near future. So pretty exciting stuff. What do you say, Brawnz? Should we jump right into it?
Let's jump to it.
Let's do it to it. Jump into it. Let's get our feet wet here, folks. What we're taking a look at here is the Bitcoin chart. This is live. If you're watching this live, it's currently 7:21. That's Houston time, Central time here in the U.S. And you're taking a look at 4-hour candles here. And as you can see, back on Monday, we saw this massive dip to the downside. Now, this was a continuation of what we felt in the previous week, which traditional markets were kind of taking a hit anywhere between 2-3%, depending on what you were paying attention to. NASDAQ was down, I think, 3.5%, if not a little bit higher last Friday. And then on Monday, it tumbled a little bit more before recovering. Nikkei on Monday was what set the tone. This is that large candle that you see here to the downside, and it brought us down to, wow. Imagine you got in at that bottom, sniped it at 40, call it 48, 48.9.
Wow. How long did that last around that range?
It didn't last long. Let's go ahead and we can actually take a look at it, dissect it a bit here. So I just switched it to the 15, and let's go back to Monday. Wasn't that long ago? Feels like it, but there's the dip. And there was that initial dip, which started right around, Sunday night, and then the Sunday night here. But that's when Japan was coming online. So the first dip brought us down to roughly the 52,400 level, bit of a rebound. One would say just a bounce up from the bottom. Dead cat bounce is what they call that. And then within a 15-minute period, it went from 51.5 down to 49. 49 even.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
And then another bounce. And then we were touching levels around 49,500. So exciting Monday. Man, a lot of folks were talking about this is, I feel like every time we feel a dip like that,
it's like a black swan.
Black swan, and that's what folks are talking about. Is this going to last? That's the question. Of course, it didn't. And one would argue this is not a black swan event. Black swan event is when you get some massive 43% dip. We saw a dip of roughly about 12%, maybe 13 that day, which is still big. It's a big dip.
Yeah, it was a big chunk. So Japan, it kind of started that. It started a chain reaction. The whole global market went down. It was something about like since 1987.
Yeah, they haven't seen a dip like that since 1987, where they were down fairly significant. And the fact of the matter is, though, it was fairly temporary. It did rebound and did recover some. That's the thing we always want to pay attention to, folks, especially if you do not have investments in traditional markets, traditional companies. Hold. It's temporary. The pain is temporary. Just keep that in mind. Now, it's folks that maybe are dealing in futures. Those are the folks that kind of are dealing with leverage and have that they kind of lose it all. But if you're just kind of investing in spot, whether that's traditional trades, traditional markets, traditional companies, even in Bitcoin, hold. It's going to recover. And that's what we saw here.
Yeah, I feel like there's more people, or maybe an institution, or are more savvy. I mean, I feel like when that happened, there wasn't, as far as me. I'm not as emotional as before, but of course, you kind of, in the back of your mind. But yeah, we recovered really quick. When we saw it on Monday, I wasn't sure how soon we would recover. I mean, I was very positive that we were gonna recover, but honestly, I was pleasantly surprised that we recovered from Monday, and
Mhm.
so I'm thinking people bought the dip. So why did people buy the dip? Wasn't there like a huge panic sell on Monday? I think people are more. I mean, like with Nvidia, I wish I got in on Nvidia when on Monday. But yeah, so I mean, it's back up. I mean, I feel like, yeah, who knows if there's gonna be any more of these? I feel like no, unless there was like a big catastrophic event. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm glad that it came back, and I didn't have no doubt that it was gonna come back.
Right. I think the only catalyst really that could have just pushed this down further was we were waiting on employment numbers, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. If those turned negative or were poor here in the States, because that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the world. The rest of the world seems to follow the U.S. economy. And I think there were obviously other catalysts that could have happened. Tensions in the Middle East, especially with what's going on with Iran, Russia, Israel, and some other issues like, well, folks are even screaming World War III. I mean, I don't know. It seems like that's a bit much, but the fact of the matter is people listen, uh, especially the louder voice that you have, and depending on which network you're watching or what you're watching on YouTube, I don't know. They just they these folks have a certain narrative I think that they're pushing, but regardless,
Yeah.
hasn't happened. And we're on our way back up. So, Bronze, what do you think? Are we going to go ahead and continue this trajectory back up? Or are we going to go sideways, recover?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I would say we'll get back up. Maybe in the short term, like next week, I would say we would get back like around the 65 range.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely reasonable. You know,
Yeah.
if let me pull this up here. If you take a look, so if you guys aren't taking a look and using the website CoinGlass, got to check it out. Lots of great data here. Now, this is the 1 month. This is the liquidation heat map, and you can see that there's there's not a lot of leverage on the downside here that could potentially get liquidated here. I think the next liquidation level that you're seeing, or the liquidation event, is up at the 70,000 mark.
Mhm.
So now that's a significant one, but you do have some pretty strong bands here for folks that got in. Man, I'll tell you what, they got in at the right time, right at the event, and had they gotten out, they're still in it. Had they gotten out, they're actually, I feel like, at risk of losing their bag unless they're anticipating that the trend reverses and it starts to continue its downward trajectory back down to other levels. I don't know. I don't think we're going down, folks. I feel like up from here. I do agree that we have some catalysts that we need to pay attention to, but in the near term, let me just go ahead and push this out to give you guys my take on this. Man, I don't know. There's not whole lot going on as far as folks uh, getting liquidated. A lot of folks got liquidated over the past week, so maybe they're just taking a break. But that leaves a lot of space up and down. Looks like we could go down as high as a liquidity grab of 58, maybe 57.8, and then a potential rebound back up. 65 is completely reasonable. Bronze, up with you. We'll see. I would say
Yeah.
within the next week.
Man, so on Monday, a lot of the longs got liquidated, right?
Oh yeah,
I wonder
absolutely.
I wonder how much was that. what they say, like in the trillion? No, was that?
No, it was billions for sure. I think
Billions.
it was just about a billion.
Yeah.
But that's still fairly significant because that's all the minnows. That's you and me. That's not
Yeah.
big institutions here. Um, they're not betting with leverage, right? That's more like gambling sometimes,
right.
depending on the amount of leverage that you're putting in.
Yeah.
So I think that still was a big event. I'm glad we recovered nicely from it. We're currently at 61.5. I suspect the trend will continue, but what we have going into the weekend, Fridays usually ride us right out into the sunset, and then typically on weekends we're pretty level. That's a good way to snipe if you are into that buy low, sell high, these sort of things. And of course, you got to take it both ways. Make money when you're buying, make money when you're selling. Do the buy, sell shorts, etc. So, all right. None of this, of course, is ever financial advice. Probably should have started with that. Maybe put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video. Yeah, there you go. Do your own research. Thank you, Brawnz. All right. Now, why did we have? Let's talk about why the Bitcoin price continued up this week. Now, let me pull this up. Let me know when you see this here, Brawnz.
See it.
You can see it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is from Cointelegraph. No affiliation there, folks. Check them out on cointelegraph.com. Of course, they're talking about why we rallied this week. One of the first catalysts that they talked about was a strong U.S. labor market. This, of course, here in the States, calms recession fears. And recession is one of those things that is really on the top of mind for a lot of folks, especially as we go into the elections here in the United States. No one is saying we are yet in a recession. People are expecting that R word, recession, to be said here soon. And but realistically, good data on the 5th and helped us recover from that big dip. And you kind of saw that as we felt that dip, there was this nice soft recovery starting to occur. It wasn't so dramatic. And then it continued out throughout the week. Now, kind of staying on this, though, Brawnz, I want to just pull this up here. I just want to make sure that you guys understand I'm not here to talk about FUD, here to spread FUD, but just talk about data so that you guys have what you need to make your best decisions for your investments overall. And what we're talking about here is the SAM Rule Recession Indicator. You can find this at Fred Economic Data. This is the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. This is where, if you take a look here, we're taking a look at a chart of data. This is based off of employment numbers, unemployment, labor rates, and whether or not we are going to be hitting a recession. Anytime you see these gray bars here, we were in a recession. And this goes way, way back to 1960. Now, we haven't really had one for a little while. I would say the last real recession we felt was 2008 during the real estate crash. And now there was this uptick that you see here. That was COVID, but it was a blip. We had this massive dip, and then in the markets and unemployment, and then a very, very sharp recovery. So I don't want to say I want to discount it altogether, but that was way outside of the norm, what we typically see. Now, when we hit levels here at our, SAM Rule Recession Indicator level of 4.3 or higher, historically, it's at the start of a recession. And this is kind of what we see year over year. A lot of folks are kind of some folks are talking about this, but this is one of those things you want to pay attention to. Now, we're currently at 5.53. Now, it doesn't mean that the rule doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but for the most part, it really has been over the past, I don't know how many decades.
Yeah, it's an indicator. So that 2020, I'm assuming that's during COVID, right? That's super high
unemployment, super high unemployment, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's sitting on their couch eating chips, thinking the world is going to end due to some kind of outbreak, right?
Yep.
But Not you or I. You were. I think we were hard at work during those days.
Yeah.
It's just you and me there, brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a lot going on in our space. But for the most part, yeah, no one was on the roads. No one was going out. Everyone was wearing masks, even when they're sitting on their couch, paranoid, and watching, I don't know, Outbreak and all sorts of other scary ass movies. But this is one
Oh
of those
yeah, that
things we
was
got to pay
scary.
attention to. So I don't know, Bronze. What do you think? You think we're going to go ahead and see a recession in the near future? It's
I
an
mean, like
election
what?
year. We typically don't.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of pad the numbers around this time. So, yeah, we'll see. But I mean, it does show like that point 53.
0.53. Yeah,
53
absolutely.
is
It's
kind of gotta watch
not
out.
looking good. And maybe this time is different, right?
Yeah,
But I think
yeah,
that there are some folks out there that are anticipating it. I just don't see it happening before the elections in November.
election, right?
And if
Yeah,
it does, well, it's going to have an impact on the outcome.
right. Yeah, I mean, based on the report, right? The U.S. label market data, it's calming the fears. It's not as bad. So
That was bad. Yeah, but we understand
it's
we have those reports once a month.
yeah,
So, maybe this month was good. Maybe next month not so good. Um, we'll see.
yeah. We will
But
see.
yeah,
So
so
I yeah.
let's talk about more. Let's talk a little bit more about these catalysts here, and as to why we were kind of up today. So I say today, but of course over the week. Now we talked about this says 100 leveraged longs. Now they're not talking about any of the shorts that were also liquidated after the fact. Um, this has to be over the first. Let's see here. Yeah, short liquidations, 24 hours. This is a little bit dated. We were close to a billion. So now, skipping past it though, because we're really focused on why we're up, a lot of the whales, big whales, were buying. August 5th and August 6th saw the highest level of Bitcoin transactions since the first week of April. I mean, that's massive, right? So they were accumulating. They knew that this was nothing to be afraid of. So there are some
There you
wallets, and we
go.
recommend this if you identify, you can take a look at some of the large whale wallets out there, see what they're doing, watch the activity in these wallets. You'll see that, especially when there's blood in the streets, if you see them buying, you're going to want to follow that. They know something that you don't. They're looking at some data that you may not have, but definitely want to keep that in your arsenal of things you want to pay attention to, if anything else.
Yeah,
So.
definitely. I mean, after COVID, that was a big lesson. Never panic sell anymore. I mean, I was still a inexperienced investor, and wow, I mean, hats off to the whales. Thank goodness for the whales. A lot of other things, other bullish factors that we'll get into more, but yeah, the whales know what they're doing.
Mhm.
There's no reason to panic if Bitcoin goes down like this. It's just a big opportunity to get in, and this is what this. If you look at the charts today, it was a nice big upswing, um, and if for the people that really believes in Bitcoin, that has done the research and see what the potential of Bitcoin is, those those people really yeah, they got in a good time. That was a good little fire sale. And yeah, we don't know if we're gonna. A lot of people are saying like this is the bottom right here. This is it. But it's hard to say. We can't really judge, predict the future. But I mean, if you look at the chart, you can definitely see when's a good time to buy, and maybe when's a good time to take a little bit profit. And yeah, just take the emotion out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Got to use your head. Don't follow the emotion, and certainly don't follow what you're reading in Twitter or X space, whatever it is you're paying attention to. Don't follow the lemmings. Don't become one of the lemmings. You always want to kind of go against the grain. That's kind of a rule of thumb. One of the other things you want to pay attention to, I'll pull it up here on CoinGlass here is the Fear and Greed Index. This is a good index that kind of shows where the states, where the overall feelings are here. Let me pull this up. Let me know when you see this.
Yep.
Basically, rule of
nice.
thumb: you get into extreme greed, you're selling. If you see that this thing is pegged to extreme greed, sell, get on the sidelines. If you see this thing pegged extreme fear, start buying like crazy. It's just it's a good, honestly, it's a good rule of thumb, not financial advice, but something that I do, and it definitely works every time. We were extreme fear 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Crazy.
And if you were buying during that time, then you were setting yourself up. Here we go. Let's see here. Fear, extreme. Yeah. Do you see the dip here? Yeah, we were approaching fear, extreme fear, and yeah, you start buying when you start seeing that. And of course now it was at the top, and now it was into greed. Now it's, where are we at? Neutral.
Neutral. Yeah.
So,
I mean, honestly, to me, in my opinion, neutral is a good time to buy as well.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. I mean, but it's one of those things you want to pay attention to. So many different indicators. I love taking a look at RSI levels, but at the high levels, when you're taking a look at the charts, and I'm talking RSI levels when you're taking a look at daily candles or weekly candles. That's something else that you can use in your bag of tricks. But let's talk a little bit more as to why we saw a bit of a pump this week. We had some news that came out from the other side here. Russia legalizes Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining. This is a big one, folks. Again, this is just one of those massive countries. Call it G7. I know that they're not in the G7, G6 anymore, but they're definitely one of those countries that needed to come on board, and they knew it. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Looks like Putin approved legislation to reduce its reliance on the U.S. dollar in international trade. A lot of folks are doing that. In fact, the United States is looking to do that itself. We see some attempts to create some bills here to use Bitcoin as some of Bitcoin as a national reserve. So, I think that's one of those things that we're going to see more and more countries doing. But this is it, folks. This is massive.
Yeah, it's
China's next.
Maybe they were watching the Bitcoin conference a couple weeks ago when Trump was making his speech, and him claiming that when he becomes president, that the United States will be a Bitcoin powerhouse, and we are. I'm getting that space race type of vibes where, I mean, it's almost like a coincidence, right? But it's really not. You would think like, okay, since Donald J. Trump is claiming this, we got to make our moves now. You see the Chinese mining pools at 50%, 57% hash rate, while we're at 35. Hopefully, we need to get on it before Russia gets on it. So it's off to the races, and that's why you see the big upswing today with these type of news. So whoever the people that got in, congrats, hats off to you. You've made some profits, most definitely. Whoever bought on Monday, and now with the prices it is today, Thursday, and this is about like 72 hours, man. Someone made some significant profit. So hats off to you. But this is good. This is very bullish. I mean, worldwide, global. Not only that Russia is going to have, is going to be pushing for their mining initiative. I mean, they're accepting Bitcoin and other cryptos. So this is humongous. We are off to the races. I mean, first earlier this year, BlackRock. Now Russia's getting China, and then now Russia's getting on it. All the powerhouses are coming into play. So it's coming. And what we talked last week, it's less than 21 million Bitcoins out there.
Yeah, huge, massive. And you're right. There's a limited supply, right? I think anyone watching this understands that. And I think that sometimes, though, you keep hearing 21 million, but the reality is it's way less than that because there's a lot that are in dead wallets. There's Satoshi's wallet that hasn't been touched and realistically may never be touched. Man, I tell you what, if this guy comes out, he's going to be a god walking on water. People are going to be bowing down to the creator, but I tell you,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that he has moved on to the next level because no one holds that long. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Going to be interesting coming up. We got a big cycle coming, and we are nowhere near the top here, folks. I would be shocked if we went in any other direction but up from here. We may see some swings down, but we're not down for the count. That's for damn sure.
Texan Whales, you remember the good old days, man? It was just maybe 3 years ago? Almost 4 years ago? I mean, that face melting, NFTs, Bored Ape, everybody, and these projects that was making these inferior video games, but was making tremendous money.
Oh, yeah.
And this iteration, this next cycle coming up, technologies has improved. Now we're leveraging AI. It's going to be really interesting what's this cycle is going to really look like. I mean, yeah. I'm just getting my hairs are standing on my arms just thinking about it. It's very exciting time. So
yeah. I think last cycle, especially, there was a lot of this Web3 stuff going around, and everyone's saying, well, yeah, everything is decentralized. Well, the reality of it is, and we've been talking about this, you can't really have a truly decentralized market. You can't truly have a decentralized system or exchange. Everything is on servers, and you need this to be managed. And the reality of it is, if you create something that never evolves or changes, because that's what blockchain is, then it becomes stale and then goes to the way of the dinosaurs. So you need to have these layers on top of blockchain to get us and get the normies involved. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here for next steps, right? An example of this is Hamster Kombat. Have you heard of Hamster Kombat there, Brawnz?
yes.
I know that you have. Yes. Have you folks out there heard of Hamster Kombat? I feel like if you're watching this right now, you probably have. And it's big in the space, though, of course, I ask any normie out there, they probably don't have a clue, but I feel like they're starting to, because this is a video game, a mini game that is in the Telegram environment. This is on the Ton network, the open network, which is all of the transactions that initially was on Telegram. It was owned by, supported by Telegram. Now, of course, this is now taken on its new life, and it's not really owned by Telegram anymore, right, Brawnz? We were talking about that last week.
That's correct.
So, but let's pull this up here, because what makes it interesting in this cycle is, and we didn't have this in the last one, is these graphical interfaces. Now, this is a screenshot of my
Telegram.
TG, right? It's on my phone. And I just kind of took
look at that, the user base. I mean, I know there's a lot of them was bots, but still, that number is crazy.
That number is crazy. 155 million. If you guys aren't paying attention, right at the top of the screen there, 155 million and a half, right? And you joined this Telegram, and you can check these out at, I think it's just Hamster Kombat, at Hamster Kombat on X, Combat with a K, and you play the one click. And what it does is it opens up this interface, this mini app or this mini game within TG. Now, this is kind of new for the cycle. I feel like having this kind of interface available and tangible, functional, we didn't really see in the last cycle. Correct me if I'm wrong. None that come to mind.
That's correct. This is very simplistic.
It's
intuitive.
simplistic. There's no music. In fact, I kind of like that. There's no sounds. It's just very much in your face. And the goal here is it's to build community, right? Crypto space is all about community building, and they nailed it with this
Yeah.
because this is a pregame before an airdrop. So the goal is to get profit per hour or hamster per hour. I think they're calling it on X. And you're mining. You're mining so that you can get certain amounts of hamster per hour, profit per hour in preparation for the airdrop. And the more profit per hour you make, the more you get during the airdrop. And
Yeah.
they interact so much into this. There's so much interaction into this.
Yeah.
And you have all these companies that want to jump on board. It's amazing.
It's it is a breakthrough. I like I see what you're getting at when we were talking about back in the days in this cycle. Yeah, this is a game changer in a sense where it's like with the Tamagotchi. I don't know if anybody is familiar with the Tamagotchi. It's that little digital pet where you take care of it. This is it's similar to this. Is there's really not much skill involved to play this game, but there is some type of maybe strategy and a little bit of brain power to get the most out of it because the name of the game is right up there where Texas Whale has that 4.11 million. That's where you need to accumulate that number. That number right there, where that's 78 million. That's the money that that you made, but you don't really count that. It's all about being active within the game. You see at the top four: daily reward, daily cipher, daily combo, mini games. When you are active and you achieve those, the more you achieve, the more you will earn in that token drop. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's fun. Man,
It's fun.
I like it.
It's a time suck. And what's nice about games like this, it's not a AAA game, which requires a lot of time and energy and money. This is, well, for the most part, it's free and you can invest as much time as you want into it. Let's kind of go through this.
Yeah.
So we're
Man, I'm
discussing.
sorry. I just saw your 52K. I'm the key 52 keys. I only got 3.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll talk about those in here in a second. So what
Oh,
Bron's talking
wow.
about in the upper right-hand corner is this key. That's a
Oh,
new
man.
achievement that they introduced, but we'll get into that. So, Bronze had mentioned about some of these daily rewards, daily activities. So here is some of the daily rewards. You got to watch some YouTubes, which of course is boosting their YouTube accounts. Daily rewards you can collect on a
Huge.
daily basis. Join their TG, follow their X account. This all is part of it, right? It's building the community. What we're looking at here is a daily cipher. It's a game to just get additional coins into your accounts. And you have daily combos where you have to find certain cards. These are the cards here at the top. You select the cards at the bottom. If you get it right, you get a bonus. Right. So there's a lot of interactivity. And then we have some mini games that are built right in. Here's an example of that mini game. You're basically trying to free the key. Now, I'm horrible at this,
Me too.
so you're not actually going to see me complete this one. I tried, folks, but it was actually yeah.
It's a
It's interesting.
good, yeah, like I said, skills. I mean, brain skills. Yes. Some of these games will take some of that the brain skills, and I like this because um I was doing some honeydews, and I had to pack, and um I trying to fit something from the grocery, and this kind of like helped me
Oh yeah,
like even the Tetris. Like, yeah, man, I'm like I'm playing the game right now, trying to get the keys, like trying to organize the groceries. Yeah, so speaking of groceries, like you're in line, sitting in line for the groceries, say like you're at Costco. I'm standing in line. I'm making, I'm being active in this game, potentially
being
making some
active.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're mining, and one of the other things that they have here is you as you're collecting those keys we talked about, but there's also all these achievements. They have all these skins you could purchase, um, and the more skins that you're purchasing, that adds to your achievements, which adds to your potential airdrop. right? And we'll pull the achievements up here in just a second. But here's your achievements, and it talks about all sorts of things: how much coins you're collecting, how many friends you have, unlocking. I don't have too many friends. I guess I need to get myself out there. I guess I'm a loner. I'm a rebel. So here's about the airdrop, and this is as you start to get these achievements, then it puts more towards the airdrop, and the airdrop at this moment is to be announced. Now, we talked about mining. You see these cards right here. You're basically collecting all these coins to increase your levels in all these different subcategories, right? Whether it's PR and team, marketing, markets, legal, Web3. And what's interesting about all of these categories is this is kind of like the blueprints of a successful project.
Yeah.
Opening up markets in particular regions, Web3 interaction, and then they have all these special cards. Which
it's like they're kind of educating too, right? It's like indirect educating again. So like we said, this game is very simplified, and if your grandma is playing this game, she's gonna be knowing what some of these terms and some of these mechanisms or what like in the crypto space. Everybody's gonna be really educated, and they don't even know it. They'll know it without without knowing it. But I want to on the first part of the game, where you get to watch YouTubes. That is ingenious marketing, and then with the other tasks where you invite friends and follow the Twitter. I mean, they're making money off of their YouTube revenues. They have so much subscribers and so many views because that's the task. And this is just the scratch of the on the surface. There's gonna be other people that's gonna be kind of like following this template, this blueprint, and I mean they'll probably up it. And it's just man. This is the OG. And yes, how many is this? Yeah, 34.9 million subscribers.
Yeah,
and you'll see 15 million views, 12 days.
50 million, 27, 12, 24. This one was apparently was not that popular, only 706,000, but 1.9. This was 4 hours ago, folks. 1.9 million views 4 hours ago, right? The interactivity that this thing is building just snowballs as folks start to consume and do the daily tasks. Now, got to be honest though, if you watch some of these videos actually have really good content.
Yes,
they're educating you. I know it's silly, it's a hamster, but they have some really good information. This is an example of a project done well, a project done right. And hats off to these folks because they're really, I don't know, showing us the way.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now, one of those things that we talked about was keys, and keys are part of it. It's achievements. And by doing that, it also integrates third-party games. So these are just 4 that are currently out there right now. That these are games that are not great, right? They're not great games. They're just not. But they're fun to play for the most part. They're quick. You could do it quick. You could do it while you're standing in line at a grocery, like Brawnz was saying. And as you're doing it, you're achieving, because of the partnership, coins and keys, which helps with your airdrop. Now, I just pulled up one of these here, and this one is the Bike Ride 3D. You'll see here that this is not one of those things. Now, talking about inviting friends, though, here, actually, it looks like I put that at the end. We're going to go ahead and see that here in a second here, folks. But they also have levels of the hamster. And the higher level you get, the more coin you get for invites with your friends. So share with your friends, get more coin, be able to get more tasks, increase your airdrop. So, and that's what it boils down to.
Boom.
And then it connects to your ton wallet. So Airdrop coming soon. We don't really have an exact date to be announced, as you saw there. We'll see what this comes to. It's imminent. It's happening now.
It is imminent. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to add real quick,
Yeah.
Texan Whale is, okay, everyone airdrop. But what happens after that? We had that's when it starts, the ecosystem starts to really grow. They are building partnerships. People, businesses, developers are seeing like how huge this game is. It's going to be becoming more than a game. It's going to really just be this whole ecosystem. Like this game that Texan Wins about to show, this bike riding game. That's not with that's a partner.
Mhm.
That's uh, that's going to be part of that ecosystem, and there's going to be more coming. And this is like the TikTok era where it's just like a quick deal activity, and you move on. So it really aligns to what we're doing right now in this era. It's very genius.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, right? You're a lemming. You're a hamster. Jump on the hamster wheel. I mean, because realistically, if we're all kind of trying to achieve the same goal, we do it together, we all win. So enough of us out there. But let's pull this back up here. And yeah, this is just an example of the game. You'll see here. It's nothing awesome,
I
but
like it. I
it's
do have
it's
fun.
fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's entertaining, right? You're trying to knock as many guys off.
And I didn't know that.
Well,
Thanks for letting me
yeah.
know.
There's
Now I know.
your
I'm gonna be knocking all these people out now.
yeah. There's your little combat counter at the top. Little fist bump. Number 4 so far I've hit. As you go downhill towards the finish line, of course, trying not to get off course or hit anything. And of course, I'm playing this a little bit, so I got a pretty awesome bike. Man, I feel like
Does the bike like does it increase the performance or anything?
Oh,
You
yeah.
notice? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And they actually break down the performance, and you try to get your 10x every time. So, and then of course, as you continue on, you get more coins in the game. It does not equate to coins in Hamster Combat, but what it does is it adds to your keys. Now, this is an example of kind of what you're also seeing, right? A lot of these games have these built-in advertisements. But think about this, it's just another layer of partnership.
Man.
So
yeah.
it's this layer on top of layer of partnership, and what they're doing is they're generating revenue stream. They're generating revenue stream.
Man, another
But
stream.
think about that though. Realistically, I mean, we know how projects are. If your community isn't building, they're dying. And a lot of communities are focused in on just trying to get funding from an outside source, right? We were kind of going through that with our project, right? Trying to find the investors, the angel investors, trying to find the organizations that are willing to invest in it. When the reality is, they've identified a way to generate their own through other partnerships based off of their interface. They're integrating games, and then on top of the games, they have their advertisements, and all of this massive, huge community that's doing all the work for them. It's driving an audience.
Man, boom. That's
Man, I tell
I
you
mean,
what.
yeah, to be honest, those ads when I play that bike game, it is annoying because there's a lot of them. But from a business point of view, that is ingenious. Like I said earlier about the YouTube revenue. Now you get these ads revenues with these partner games. Um, Imagining you as a developer partnering up with Hamster. Wow, I mean, you can generate some good amount of revenue yourself. So man, this model it's growing. It's growing. I just can't wait to see what else is up next for this ecosystem, because I feel like it's just getting started. It's just only going to get better from here. It's not going to get worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did this all start? Right? I mean, how did this get on our radar here? We talked about this, and I'm just going to pull it up before we wrap it up here. But CoinGecko.com here, folks, right? And this is the top 10 coins. I recall one week, maybe in a few months back now, and I'm looking at it, and then I call Bronze up, and we're talking about this. I'm like, "Have you heard of
I'm like,
Ton
no.
coin? Where did it come from?" And then we start looking into it, and it's massive, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a way for the normies to truly start to get into it, and also the next generation coming in, right? The younger generations coming in. This is something that they're going to feel totally comfortable with. So,
Right. So like yeah, I want to. I guess we need to distinguish. Ton is the token, right, for Telegram, and in Hamster they're gonna have their own airdrop, but that's separate. But Ton ultimately like runs the network that's gonna
it's the
use the
layer,
gas.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the blockchain layer. And then, of course, you have the coin that resides on it. It pushes all of it along. And then you have their own wallets. Ton is massive in itself, it has all these different features. But one of those big ones for this cycle is gaming. Everyone could do an exchange. We've seen it. It's nothing new. Everyone has wallets. Sure. Great. You got an exchange, you got a blockchain, nothing new. But now, what are you doing with it? And Ethereum got on early, so there's so much on Ethereum. It's going to be hard to knock those folks out of number one. But Ton seems to be doing a pretty good job for someone who really hasn't been in the space that long. Be interesting to see if Ethereum can kind of mimic it, because I feel like they must. Maybe not on TG, but somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
And with the game, the Hamster game, I think they do a pretty good job of security. I don't see how. I mean, there's so many people that's playing this game right now. From what I know so far, it's really hard to kind of like game the game, compared to like other games before where they had the scholar model where people that couldn't afford um, to buy these avatars, um, but they had to play the game to work for it. This one is more individualized. I don't see how you can. They had guilds, people like would just recruit people to play, and then they'll earn, and then they'll split the profit. This one is basically a solo sport
It's old
type
sport.
game.
And on top of it, they're identifying IPs. So a few weeks back, they said, "So sorry if you were cheating, if you had more than one account. We identified it through your IPs. And if we've basically kicked you off," which is, I think, great, because realistically, if you have someone that is able to try to have all of these different bots, and they have maybe 10, 100 bots, whatever it is, even two, just don't do it. Stop doing it. You're gaming the system. You're trying to find a way to get more for the airdrop. And there was a result of that. Now, are there ways around that? Sure. But maybe they're paying attention to that as well. So they're doing their very best to try to mitigate that and eliminate it overall. I think that it's a great project. It's a great team doing and showing quality work. And that's honestly rare in this space. Like, there's a lot of great ideas in the space, but the execution doesn't quite get us there. These guys are doing a good job. So, Bronze, any last words for these fine folks out there?
No, I mean the Olympics, breakdancing, the first ever of its kind, is going to be in the Olympics, and it's going to start tomorrow and Friday. So I'll be watching that. this weekend.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Someone said something about that. I said, what? Breakdancing? They're going to, what are they going to whip out the cardboard? And if you know what that means, it's typically, you're out, these are breakdancers were on the streets and they was on asphalt or concrete. So they laid down cardboard so they weren't, grinding on their elbows or their face or their hands. And it was a nice smooth surface.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked how far we have come, Brawnz. How far we have come.
Yes,
absolutely.
No more cardboards. This is a global thing. All countries are breakdancing, and it's finally time to. Yeah, I'm glad we're going to be seeing this.
Yeah, absolutely. And realistically, Brawnz, I think for all you folks out there as well, just like the Olympics, whether you're into breakdancing, you're into pole vault, or regardless of the type of race or swim, this is the type of projects that we have. Think about all of the different projects that we have similar to the Olympics. Make sure that you're paying attention to all of the stats. And this is one of those projects out there. Hamster Kombat, love it. Ton, love it. Where'd you come from? I don't know. But keep up the great work. Listen, guys, we appreciate you joining in, and tune in next time. Folks, we'll be right back.